So we had an absolutely insane trading day today in the live trading room, and then on top of that, I just caught an absolutely insane trade as well, power hour here. So I'm gonna go over some of these trades. The main trade I want to put emphasis and focus on is this A plus setup here, which is gonna be a standard bounce play. So a lot of different questions that I've been getting from you guys is why, Raul, do you change your strategy? And I'm gonna show you here why I didn't change my strategy and how I actually made my strategy better by using order flow data to my advantage. Now, typically, you know what, before I even get into this breakdown here, this is gonna be the actual trade result itself. So today on this trade, I traded the S&P 500 ESE mini futures contracts. As you guys can see, I traded this with 5 contracts long to the upside. The total trade was a 25.75 point gain, which if we now look at the actual results of the trade itself and the R multiple, I had an original planned risk on this trade of only 870 bucks. Really small risk on this trade. An initial target of 4K. This account's a little bit smaller, so I'm being a little bit more conservative with the risk here as well. I had a planned R multiple of 4.71, but I realized 7.36 R on this trade, which is phenomenal. Now, if we look at the playbook itself, the setup was an absorption reversal. Now, when we actually go into this, before, how I would have traded this, just trading price action alone, is looking at the 5-minute time frame. On the 5-minute time frame, normally what I would have done is waited for price to get down into my key level of support, which in this situation is going to be the 63.93s. After seeing this rejection candlestick, I would have entered the market long here, targeting the next level of resistance, which would have been this area up here. I would have had a 27 tick stop loss and a potential 1.7 R multiple, and this is just trading price. And if I was targeting this next level of resistance, then that would be a 3.56 R multiple. 96 ticks to the upside and a 26 potential tick risk, which you guys would have seen that trade would not have actually worked out. Now, what made the difference between me saving myself on this trade and me actually capitalizing 8R multiple on this trade was using order flow data to my advantage. So first and foremost, what I like to do is I like to pay attention to the volume profile and where we're trading on the session volume profile. So if we look at this level at 63.90, I have my key level of resistance at 63.93, which is just slightly higher. Now what I've done is I've sectioned off the market more accurately. So now this is going to be the level where I'm going to be looking to take the trade from, in between our value area low and our 63.93.25 key level of support, which you guys could see that was supported over here, and then later on that was supported again. So that's where we're going to be trading on the volume profile, and you guys can see like this is where volume really starts to die off under there. So we're kind of like at the edge of value here. So that's confirmation number 1, validating where I'm taking this trade. Now, confirmation number 2 is going to be on the heat map. If we look at the heat map, this is the original push down into the 63.90s, which you guys can see here on this move at the 63.93s. There would have been no reason for you to actually enter the market all the way at 63.93, especially on that specific key level. Why? Because if we actually look at the original push down, it is 63.93. We pumped all the way back up into 63.97. Now, if we pay attention to this 63.97, you guys can actually see here that although buyers are entering the markets, we have sellers holding and weighing the market down. We even had a large bid get filled here. Buyers tried to push price up again, and they failed, and we had passive selling get filled here in the market, which brought the market back down. So I could have completely avoided even taking this trade over here by just using a book map alone to confirm your entries. Now, why did I actually enter and execute the market here? First and foremost, on this entry over here, there was really nothing for me to actually take the trade from. I could have potentially just taken it right then and there after seeing all of this absorption here from the buyers. So essentially, we had sellers get really aggressive here. You guys can see that there's 816 contracts aggressively executed at the market, and then we had some bids sitting here that got filled here as well, but price pumped up a little bit too quick, and I needed to wait for a pullback back down to the level. Now, as we got this pullback back down to the level, you guys could see that the bid actually did get filled, but we were holding and maintaining under for a little bit of time under that passive buyer. So when I refer to bid, I want you guys to think about passive buying. When I refer to offer, I want you guys to think about passive sellers. Now, when this order actually did get filled here, you guys can see we pushed right through immediately, not like over here. So this is kind of like a warning sign, like, hey, maybe I should wait for a reclaim and a hold of this level for me to take the trade from, which is exactly what I did. Price came all the way back up, price then pulled back down. We tried to hold above this level. You can see not much buying came in. Look at how large these bubbles are compared to these bubbles. So when I don't see large buying come in for follow through, then that's when I avoid taking the entry. And this is actually an even better setup. Why? Because we get more confirmation. What do we have? We have sellers try and get aggressive and bring the market lower, which they did. We ended up sweeping this low over here, and then we ended up reclaiming this large order here at 63.90, which if we go back into the actual chart itself, and by the way, this is the same exact setup that allowed me to turn $5,000 into $20,000, which I did complete that challenge. I'm gonna make a little bit more in-depth video for my main YouTube channel, kind of showing you guys the whole withdrawal process and actually showing you guys that. So that'll be on my main YouTube channel. And then on top of that, I'm also going to be probably hosting a webinar for you guys as well, breaking down each one of these setups, which will be a completely free training. But you can see I just requested a withdrawal. I don't know if they've approved it yet. Let me see, refresh the screen here. So my withdrawal still hasn't been approved, so I'm waiting for my withdrawal there. But I'm training the same exact setup. Now, if we go back here, you guys can see my average entry is going to be, where is it? My average entry is going to be at 63.92.75, which if I pop trading view back up, you can see 63.92.75 is going to be right here. So why did I actually enter the market there? Well, if we look at price pumped all the way up into the 63.92.5s. Price then pulled back down, and really what I'm waiting for is a reclaim of the level. And what reclaim means is basically we're trading back above the level that we're looking at. And to me, it wasn't even like 63.92. It was going to be this area over here where these large buyers got filled in the market. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go in here and I'm going to go to drawing tools. We're going to draw a rectangle. So this is going to be the entire range that I'm going to be looking for price to reclaim and hold above. So after these buyers got filled, we swept that liquidity, that absorption was present. We pushed back up. Notice the aggressive buying pushed the market back up. You can see how the buyers got aggressive under this low here, how these sellers got trapped. And then what we also could see on a footprint chart here as well is you could see all of that negative delta and all of that trapped selling. And then we see a reversal and a reclaim of the key level. And then what I wanted to see was a little bit of a dip buy, where we actually had a dip back into where these large buyers got filled into the markets. And then if we saw aggressive buying follow through with that, then that's when I would execute myself into the long position. So we reclaimed the level, we pulled back. You can see the sellers trying to bring the market down here. And then we started seeing aggressive buying come into the markets, and that's when I bought right here. I bought the market right here at 63.90 or at 63.92.75 with my stop loss just slightly under where all of this selling is getting trapped. And you guys could see every single time sellers try to bring the market down, they got absorbed, and that absorption was still present. You could see all of the bids here in the market, and you could see all of the trap selling. And then what you can also do is go on a footprint chart here as well and look at these same prices. So 63.92 is going to be here. You can see all of this negative delta, but yet price is struggling to break out lower. And you guys can see price ended up rallying shortly after that here. So we can even see that rally completely push through with all of this aggressive buying. So did I change my trading strategy? No, the play would have still been the same. What I'm doing now is using my order flow data to be able to actually execute on these ideas with a higher probability and a higher edge. And like I showed you guys before with my previous entry over here, I would have had a stop just right under that low, a 29 tick stop, and a 1.6 R multiple. Absolutely horrible. It's not even a trade I would have taken. That's not even a trade I would consider taking in this situation here, now using order flow. But now since I've integrated order flows, you guys could see I now have made a 14 tick stop, and I had an overall, my first initial TP was right here. So I would have been a 68 tick gain for a 4.8 R multiple, but I got stopped out of the trade here for a 7.21 R multiple. And even with like this trade over here confirming the aggressive buying and confirming the buying imbalance, this is a little bit of a different setup. We ended up catching a 6 R multiple in the live room today. But what I want you guys to notice here is this trade was the same as this trade over here, just without waiting for price to sweep the low and then pull back up. So I ended up taking a break-even trade on this first trade, and again, this is all caught live in front of my entire Discord. I ended up taking this trade here after I got stopped at break-even. I took the same setup yet again because the same setup was valid. Here I got a full stop loss, and then we took this setup shortly after, and this setup made us back 6R multiple in total. Now, I got out on this trade at 4R multiple just simply because I had already surpassed the $20,000 balance and I wanted to close the trade. But even then, I only lost here 3 points and I ended up gaining around 16.5 points on this trade. So that's like the whole point. I lost 1R multiple on this trade and I ended up getting 4R multiple here. And if I would have actually held to my target, I would have made 6R multiple and been up net 4 or 5R multiple on the day. But I mean, regardless, I made 4R multiple here, and then I ended up making another 7R multiple here. So on the day overall, I'm up 11R multiple. So I've just bought myself the next 11 trades, and I'm only able to do this because I added order flow data into my trading. And again, just like how I said in my last video, I'm not telling you guys you have to change your trading strategy completely. What I'm saying is you can incorporate this data to make your trading strategy that much better and that much more effective. More importantly, so even then, guys, like, you're able to significantly use any one of these tools, whether it's a footprint chart, whether it's a footprint chart, whether it's a heat map, or whether it's a volume profile. Like, you're able to use these tools to your advantage because at the end of the day, it's data, and you're able to actually get a lot more precise entries inside of the markets to be able to do so. I mean, the only reason that we caught this trade down here was because of volume profile, heat map, and footprints. Caught this trade up here because of the heat map and footprint and the volume profile as well. But the setups are the same. I'm just confirming them on my footprint charts overall. And again, like, you know, even in the live trading room, which, by the way, if you guys want to join the live trading room and watch me execute these setups live every single day, you guys can click that very first link down in the description and join me in the live room. Even in the live trading room today, one of my students asked me, why didn't you take the trade at that level? Because there was no area there. There was no key level there. And it's like because of the data that we're able to actually see off of the heat map, off of the footprint charts. This is the data that I'm actually referring to. You can see it all the way down here. Look at how much buying, passive buying, is holding the market up at the low of day. And again, like, we've pushed so far away from the mean, which this setup was a mean reversion setup. We've pushed so far away from the mean. You guys can see how much selling was coming into the markets and how many passive buyers were holding the market up. And then on top of that, they were being supported by a big aggressive buying inside of this market, which caused this huge move up. And you could see all of this buying here too. Like, this should be a situation where if you see all of this buying, there should be no reason for you to be looking to take shorts. And most people would probably just be looking to take shorts in a situation like this because it's like, hey, you know what? We're in a bearish trend. We had a big move to the downside. Let's look to continue to sell. And it's like, no. If we look at the order book, you can see how much buying is coming into the order book. This is not something that you want to go long against. So again, guys, you could use all of this information to your advantage. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. And again, this was the actual trade that I wanted to actually break down here, this setup specifically, because this is like my bread and butter setup. It's an A+ setup. So if we look at the entry confirmations themselves, you know, the first entry criteria is large, strong buying and selling without follow through, which is number one, which we can go back on the heat map, which if we look at the screenshot here, you could see large selling with no follow through for those sellers. Which then, let's look at the second entry confirmation. Initiation from the passive side to the absorption side, which we could see the initiation here on the absorption with the passive buyers and then the aggressive buyers as well. And then we have multiple attempts. So you have one attempt, you have two attempts, you have three attempts, you have four attempts. And then what made this even better, which again, this alone right here is an A setup. This would make it an A+ setup, is that we had a sweep through the absorption point and a reclaim, which is exactly what we had right here. We had that sweep through the absorption point and a reclaim, and then we had the bids continue to support the market at that reclaim point. We're trading at an area of interest, which what is our area of interest? Our area of interest is going to be the key level of support and this value area low. Then last but not least, limits showing and reloading. So if we actually look at the order book here, as price is coming up, you could see now these lines here. I'm gonna actually go back on the heat map and go back to overall where we were, which is gonna be somewhere around this area up here, right here. So you could see that aggressive selling was huge. Right. So if we look at the order book here, what we see here is you guys can see kind of like there's not really much orders here. You can see the opacity is kind of like black, but as price starts to come back into this area, you can see now there's more color on each one of these lines, which that simply represents our bids loading on the order book here. And as you can see, every time price came back down, we had more bids load up on this order book here. So those are bids reloading. And essentially all that simply means is that passive buying is continuously trying to support the market higher, which is always a good sign. And even if we look at this initial push to the upside, you can see that the bids originally started loading over here. They started loading over here. And as price started to pump up, we had more bids reloading higher and higher, which is always a great sign if you're in a move where you're looking to take this market long, or if you have offers reloading lower and lower, that's a great move, a great sign for you to take the market short. But other than that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.